How's everybody doing tonight, all right? Michelle Tonka, how the fuck did you talk me into doing this? Anyway, my name is Tom Forkin. I live here in Atlantic City, and yes, you need a fucking sense of humor to live in Atlantic City. If you guys haven't mentioned or seen the mayor's fight on fucking Facebook or the thing, you know, it's like, looks like you look at this, and if you don't laugh at some of the fucking shit that goes on in Atlantic City, you would cry. Okay, so I don't have any jokes really. If I start to tank, I got some really good fucking golf jokes that I can tell at the end of the show. But right now, you know, I mean, just look at this fucking mayor's fight. You know, they have it on camera at Harris, and the fucking mayor comes out the door, and he gets hit twice, boom, boom, and he's chasing around this other fucking guy like a second-grade fight. And he's like, I mean, it's like, you gotta have skills, but the only thing that's funnier than watching that is the fact that they made me the fucking chairman of the Alcohol Beverage Control Board, which I think that's how they made me the fucking up here on stage here. So, you know, we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this, is that, you know, a sense of humor living in Atlantic City. Well, let's think about it for a second. You get your tax bill. How many people here live in Atlantic City? Yeah. Do you get KY jelly with your tax bill now? Yeah. It's like right up in there, man. It's a little painful. to get your tax bill because the state, you know, is crushing us with the property taxes in the city. I mean, I don't know what the requisite is for being on city council, but, you know, we got to do something about those property taxes. But a few years ago, I returned to teaching, and teaching in and of itself is funny stuff. So these are real stories, and I'm going to change the names to protect the innocent. And, you know, my first day teaching in the Atlantic City Public Schools starts off very innocent. You know, I'm the media specialist, which is basically the fucking librarian at Chelsea Heights Middle School, right? So, you know, I figure it's going to be an easy gig. Like the second or third week of school, I have beads, right? This kid brings in, for show and tell, kid's like in third grade, he brings in beads. He has an armful of fucking beads, and the kid looks at me and he goes, "Look what my mommy won at Mardi Gras." My mommy won these at Mardi Gras. The fucking principal and I are standing over in the corner crying. And we're like, yeah, this kid, you know, does he know what the fuck is going on? He has no clue. He's bragging about how his mother won these beads at Mardi Gras. Epic stuff. You know, a couple weeks later, you know, I'm teaching a class, and I'm like, going over vocab words, and little Azim, you know, we're going over the word homogeneous, and we're talking about the word homogeneous. It's like, okay, what's homogeneous mean? The little Azim in the back of the fucking class raises his hand, he goes, "Yo, Mr. Forkin." I said, "Azim, what's it mean?" He goes, "That's a smart faggot." I'm like, you fucking, you gotta laugh at some of this stuff. And, you know, what's even funnier is like the kids come out with this stuff, and in Atlantic City, you're like, you know, God, where do you get that from? I don't know, but you know, he gets it, and he said it, and I had to correct it. I'm like, that's not acceptable. You know, you can't say those things. And I think that we've evolved, like in Atlantic City, a lot. You know, and essentially, you know, because I have a lot of gay friends, you know, and I think that there's less bias against gay people, you know, because it's, you know, people are just, you know, people. You know, it doesn't matter what race, creed, or color you are, but, you know, you ever have a straight friend talk to a gay friend, and I see this shit all the time, okay? It's like, yeah, man, I don't roll like that. And the gay guy will say, "Well, you're not my type anyway." And then the straight guy gets all offended, like, "What do you mean I'm not your type?" And he gets a little fucking militant about it, you know? But, you know, I love kids. I have one of my own. You know, it's better than having a puppy. Like, you guys have puppies, you know? Like, you guys out there, you have puppies, and people say, "Oh, the puppy's so cute, you know? He's a wonderful puppy, and he's great." Well, you know, it's better than having a puppy, man. You have a little kid, you're walking him down the beach, and you tell the girls, "Yeah, I'm a single dad, you know, I'm raising him by myself, and yeah, this is great, you know." So I'm very proud of my son. He's in college now. He's playing college lacrosse, right? Good sport. You know, when he was a little kid, he was an altar boy at St. Michael's Church right here in Atlantic City. And so, you know, St. Michael's Church, one of the priests there got accused of molestation like 30 years ago. So I had to ask my son, I'm like, "Tommy, you know, Father never touched you inappropriately, did he? Did he ever touch you down in, down in your naughty bits or anything like that? He goes, no, Dad. But it brought back tough memories for me, personally, because I was an altar boy. I had a very traumatic experience. I was never touched. I was never groped. I've gone through like years of like being left out. I feel inadequate, I don't know, that's crazy. So, kids are kids, and my son, I would let him have, people over at the house and stuff. My stepson would have people over at the house, and when my stepson had to be, I want to say it was in like 7th grade, right? 7th grade, my stepson Connor, right? Great kid. One night, he's over visiting his dad, and we get this knock on the door. 10 o'clock at night. At the time, I'm living up in Tom's River because I got married to a girl in Tom's River, so it pretty much meant I had to fucking live in Tom's River. So I live in Tom's River, working in Manhattan, fucking this big dude's at the door. I go to answer the door, there's this fucking, it looks like a cop there, right? This big tall guy, and I said, yes sir, may I help you? He goes, we have an incident. And I thought, well, what kind of incident? I thought it was a police officer, maybe a car accident or something like that. So, I said, what kind of incident? Well, I need to speak to Connor. He's not here. So what kind of incident? An incident involving my daughter. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, what kind of incident is that involving your daughter? So, a sexual incident. He's in fucking 7th grade, right? So I'm like, okay, so let me go get his mother. So I go upstairs and wake up my ex-wife. I'm like, she was still married at the time. And so she comes down, and we invite the parents in, and this is a true story. I mean, this isn't bullshit, right? So they come in the house, and this is like the real thing. So we sit them down, and we're like, I try to get out of them what happened. So what happened? Well, they were smoking marijuana at Cap's house. And I said, and what happened next? He asked her for oral sex. And I'm like, okay, and what happened? She obliged him. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? And he goes, I want him to learn a lesson. And I'm like, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, like, what kind of lesson is he gonna learn? Like, if he's gonna get your daughter high, she's gonna suck his dick? I mean, where do you go with that? It's like, come on. So, my wife, who's super conservative, she goes, oh, we were all kids once. And I look at her and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't know. Hell no. You don't say, this guy wants my stepson's scalp. He wants his head on a stick. He doesn't want to see, like, we were all young once. And I'm thinking to myself, how old was my wife when she started sucking dick? Fucking 7th grade? I mean, I didn't get laid until I was like in high school. Jesus Christ, you don't even know what to do with pussy then. I mean, think about it. What the fuck? 7th grade, we were all kids once, right? So, here's the double standard of having stepkids, right? The double standard. So, my kid's like in 9th grade, he's over at Atlantic City High School, and they had a prom. He took like a chick to the junior prom, so I get him, a friend has a limousine service, so I send him off on his way, take the prom pictures. He's a freshman, he's all happy. So I go to bed, wake up the next day, I'm making my coffee. My son comes downstairs, big smile on his face. Fucking 6 o'clock in the morning. What kind of teenager wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll cook you breakfast. What are you doing up so early? Oh, her parents are coming to pick her up. I'm like, what? The girl stayed here last night. I said, you better get out of the fucking house before your stepmother gets up because she's gonna have a shit fit, right? So, long story short, my ex-wife comes down the steps and she sees this. You can see her starting to boil. I mean, she's pissed off. I'm like, so parents come up, knock on the door, thank you for letting Jessica stay over at your house last night. Obviously, she thought there was fucking parental supervision. She had no idea that her daughter's getting banged upstairs by my son. I mean, I don't have, God knows what the hell's going on. It was bad. So they thank us, they leave, and she goes, I can't believe that you allowed that to happen. And I looked at her, and I shrugged my shoulders, I said, we were all kids once. Oh my. My. So anyway, like I said, my son has friends over at the house. When he was in high school one time, I get this call, and my stepson Connor calls me, and he goes, Tom, he goes, Johnny can't come over to the house anymore. I'm like, why not? Johnny and Tommy are friends, and like buddies. He goes, Johnny took a shit in my igloo cooler. What? He took a shit in my igloo cooler. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, who the fuck does that? Who takes a shit in your igloo cooler, right? No? And you know, and I'm like, how do you know it was him? Did you see him do it? No. But he had an opportunity to take a shit in my igloo container. I'm like, whatever. So I call my son, and I'm like, Tommy, go check it out. Tell me if it's really shit. My thought process was it's probably like a cigar or something I dumped in there. You know, maybe like some chewing tobacco or something because the kids dip. I'm like, how can it be shit? And who does that, right? So long story short, my son calls me back and goes, Dad, it's shit. I'm like, okay. So I come home, I look at it, and sure enough, it's shit. Right in that igloo container. Right? Big turd. Right there. Big turd. Floating in the igloo container. And I'm like, all right. So I clean the igloo container out. Connor's still mad. And I'm like, dude, listen, you don't know as a kid. Whoever took a shit in the igloo container, it's not a big deal. So a few weeks later, I asked a mutual friend of Tommy and Johnny's, and I'm like, dude, do you think Johnny would really do something like that? And he goes, no, that's his thing. That's his fucking thing? That's his thing? Like, what kind of thing? Oh, dude, he does that at everybody's house. He'll take a shit in the pool. He'll take a shit he'll take a poop in the potted plant in a closet, wherever. I mean, that's his thing. I mean, and that's kind of crazy, right? That's, you know, taking poops places, but people do crazy fucking things, right? People do crazy things. Maybe it's a generational thing. I mean, you know, I'm dating a younger woman. She's a few years younger than me. And, you know, we're consenting adults. And so one night we're doing the boy-girl thing, and she does the reach around. And she's ferreting up around my chocolate starfish. Yeah. She goes to stick her finger in my ass. I'm like, fuck that shit. She goes, oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. She's all bad. I'm like, no, that's hard. No, you're not sticking your finger in my fuck. No, you're not sticking your finger in my ass. And then she's like, gives me the hard sell. She gives me the hard sell. She's like, well, you know, honey, it's really good. It tickles your prostate, and, you know, it helps the ejaculation. What the fuck? I'm like, no, because I'm an extreme sports athlete, you know? I mean, I like to do marathons and triathlons. I mean, next thing you know, I mean, if I start to like it, I'm gonna have her fucking wearing a strap-on, fucking me in the ass every other Friday night. No. And I had to explain to her why. How many guys in here are like over 40? Nobody in here over 40? Yeah. You guys have gone to have your prostate examined, all right? I went to have my prostate examined, and my friend who's a doctor, we'll just call him Dr. Art, this motherfucker had hands, he had like 12-inch long fingers, right? And he's like, gives me the physical exam, and he bends me over this fucking table, and he sticks his 12-inch long finger up my ass, and he's ferreting around up there. I'm like, whoa! Jesus Christ. He's got his finger. I'm like, dude, shouldn't you take me out to dinner first? I mean, are you going to stick that sausage finger up my ass? So he sticks he's up there. Tom, you have a very large prostate. I'm like, well, thank you very much, but no, that's not a good thing. No, it's not a good thing, the large prostate. So, long story short, you know, a week later, he calls me, and he asks me out to dinner. And no, it gets better. The story gets better. And it wasn't what you think, you know, he wasn't asking me out, but, you know, he's like, hey, Tom, because we're good friends, you know, we hang out. And he goes, dude, this dinner over at Susanna Foods. Oh yeah, this is dinner at Susanna Foods. It's being put on by our pharmaceutical company. And what the gig is, the pharmaceutical, and again, this is a true story. We're going to go to a pharmaceutical dinner. There's a lot of hot girls there. You know, we're going to get lucky. So I'm in. Free food, Susanna Foods, good-looking women, I'm going, right? So we go, and right before we go up to where they accept people in, oh, Dr. Nahas, thank you for coming. Thank you. Oh, and who's your friend? Oh, this is Dr. Forkin. She goes, oh, what kind of doctor are you? I'm a gynecologist. Gynecologist, right? So they're like, that's great news because our keynote speaker can't come tonight. And our topic is genital, sexually transmitted diseases. So we're going to have you speak. And I'm looking at my buddy, I'm like, you're a fucking asshole, man. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're gonna, now, he goes, dude, just relax. I'm gonna give you notes. So here we are in Susanna Foods, eating like sushi, watching slides of infected genitals while we're dining on fine Asian cuisine. And you can't make this shit up. Like, you gotta be kidding me. We're gonna do this, right? So he's passing me notes, and I'm like looking at the notes, I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm going through, I'm putting on my best lawyer bullshit, and I'm like, obviously, it's an infected pustule on the vaginal wall, and I would administer 15 cc's of penicillin for that. And basically, you know, I get through it. This goes on for like a fucking hour. I go from thinking I'm going to get lucky, you know, to whether I'm ever going to have an erection again. Because there's no fucking way, after seeing those pictures, that I ever wanted to have, I mean, it went months after that. I was like, there's no way. So the last slide that they show is like this, like, I don't know, it was like some disgusting legion. I'm like, he shrugs his shoulders, he looks at me, he shrugs his shoulders. He's like, I got nothing. So I had to make something up. I'm like, obviously, it's an infected individual that went into a steam room and sat down and left the virus on, and this is why you guys, if you ever go to a steam bath, you know, you always want to put a towel down. They didn't put a towel down and it became infected on the, it looks like the back of the thigh. It was some innocuous physical spot, you know, whatever. So, you know, and, that's absolutely correct, Dr. Forkin. I'm like, fucking, I'm out of here. Art's like, aren't we going to stay and talk to these girls? I'm like, fuck no, I'm gone. So, you know, I had to go home and vomit a little bit, you know, but that's about it. I don't know. So, that's all I got, guys. That's all I got. Unless you guys want to hear a really good golf joke. You want to hear a golf joke? It's called The Shit Show, so you might as well talk a little bit shit. So anyway, when I went to Villanova Law School, and I had a buddy of mine that I went to law school with. He went to, he eventually became an executive headhunter, right? So they're going to send him on this trip to Japan. He's going to Japan, and he's going to check out these two, you know, Asian executives that he wanted to recruit for this company that he's working for in Manhattan. And we've been friends for a while. So, you know, he's very anal retentive. You know, he's like, okay, you know, I'm going to study Japanese. I'm going to learn some Japanese before I go, right? So, you know, he's studying the tapes, and he's like, okay, konnichiwa, mama-san. He's going through the whole thing, and he's learning the language. And he picked up some. He's not fluent, you know. So he goes over there. You know, the Japanese are big golfers. How many people knew that the Japanese were big golfers? The Japanese are big golfers, right? So he takes his clubs. He takes his clubs with him, right? So, you know, they're playing like 9 holes a day. 9 holes a day, you know, he's having fun. These guys are really good workers. He's going to recruit for this company. So the night before he leaves, the night before they leave, they go up to this geisha house. You guys know what a geisha house is? Yeah, it's like a hoe house, right? So, you know, they have some sake. They're drinking some sake. Next thing you know, upstairs and they're doing the boy-girl thing. You know, he's got her ankles up behind her ears and she starts yelling, Mishita! 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 And he's thinking like, she must not be used to this big American cock. I'm doing it right. This must mean great. He thinks this word Mishita, this means great. Well, the next day, you know, he's all happy, he got laid on the trip. The next day, they're playing a fast 9, they're playing quick 9 holes before he's got to get on the plane and come home, right? So the last hole, it's like a par 3. He gets on the green in one, and he one-putts it. He's all fucking stoked. He wants to use his new word. He throws up his club, he's like, Mishita! Mishita! And the Japanese guys look at him and they're like, what do you mean, wrong hole? That's it, guys. Thanks for having me. Thanks, Michelle.
Give it up for Tony. Taking one for the team, and he opened for us. First time ever doing comedy, he was opener. So I think a good way to do this is we'll maybe do like musician, comic, musician.